This is a show about facing fear, unlocking courage, and taking action.
Courage isn't necessarily a daunting thing.
It's going to give you more purpose. It's going to give you more drive.
It feels like making a courageous decision is going to get you closer to who you aspire to be.
It's knowledge plus faith plus action equals courage. Hey everybody, it's Ryan here. Before we jump into the show, I just wanted to say a huge thank you to you. We are now nearing in on 150 episodes of the Courageous Podcast, and boy, has it been a journey. Really, just wanted to say thank you, tip my cap to you, appreciate you listening. It has been an amazing ride. If I look back at the guests that we've had, from like Landon Donovan to rock stars to CEOs and astronauts, it's just been an awesome opportunity to listen to some pretty amazing people. And again, the whole point of doing this is maybe there's a place in your life where you feel stuck or scared or you're playing it safe. And this is that little nudge you need to leap. I can tell you in my life, almost every single time I was brave enough to not just think it and feel it, but do it and go for it, I've come out the other side happier. It doesn't mean I've been successful 100% of the time, but it sure has been a fun ride, kind of going through it and growing and learning. And I think that's what it's all about. This particular episode is just an awesome conversation with Xanthe Wells, who is the VP of Global Creative at Pinterest. I had always known about Xanthe, but it wasn't until this conversation. This is the second time we spoke. We did have a 15-minute convo as a prep, but it was as if we were like longtime friends. Just an easy conversation, just a bantering back and forth of two people that have been in creative for a while. And I just think you're really going to appreciate her perspective and her point of view. Enjoy the episode. Creativity, it needs to be repositioned. If I said creative leadership to most leaders, they're gone. They're out. They don't understand what that means. When I say it to you, or first of all, do you agree with this thought?
Well, tell me more about it.
Oh, I should have known this was coming. I think that I've always said that I'm a creative business guy. I'm not an ad guy. My mentors were like, you're in the creative business. But unfortunately, most business people, I don't think, totally get what creativity can do for their bottom line.
Yeah.
And a lot of creatives, the term starving artist is a term for a reason. Like, creatives haven't totally figured out a way how to monetize creativity.
Yeah.
So to me, creative, it's being full brained, not right brained or left brained, but full brained. But I think when you talk about creativity around many companies that aren't agencies, that are brands, Fortune 100 businesses,
Yeah.
they're not totally, I don't know if they believe that creativity is at the forefront or if it matters to them. And this is just my take.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to hear yours.
Yeah. Well, I think we struggle with quantifying feelings, which to me, the best creative makes you feel something. And there's still no real way to measure how you've made somebody feel because they don't talk about it. And in a survey, they won't say anything about it. And we ask things like, does this ad convince you to purchase XX more of this product? It's all very rational. And I think creative brand building is something that you can't always quantify, but it's something that can create a groundswell around a product. When Old Spice started delighting people with amazing advertising, they started selling a lot. So, but it's only after the fact that they go, oh, that must have worked. I don't think, Dan White, and I don't know if this is really a true story, but I heard that he said to, I think it's P&G, give me your worst product and I want to do something great with it. And he got Old Spice and it was the grandfather brand and the rest is history. But it's just kind of, I don't think anyone was sitting around going, we need a real creative campaign to save this. They were just like, this thing's not selling. We got to do something to lift sales. Okay, this legend in advertising wants it. Let's do it. But yeah, I don't think it, and I also don't think kids, certain kids are told they're creative and a lot of kids are told they're not. And I think they grow up to be adults who are not comfortable with creativity. who think of it as another thing besides something that's deep inside them. Everybody is creative. We're born creative. It's just a lot of us are not encouraged. And we take this, exit ramp and go, okay, I'm an accountant because I can't possibly be creative, but I challenge that.
I'm not sold. That's why we took the exit ramp. First of
Tell me
all,
more.
and clearly I didn't take the exit ramp.
Yeah.
Here I am. I'm still on the road, right? But I think, I think it gets. I think fear wins,
Yeah.
and I think
Yeah.
you think about who we trust growing up,
Mhm.
and a lot of them are scared that you're not going to make money
Right.
being
Right.
creative. So
Oh,
like,
for
oh
sure.
no, no, no. Their belief system is, well, you do this, you do that, you do this, you make
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Go to
It's a
school,
recipe.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's nudges maybe
Right.
to not go into
Yes.
creativity. And
Yes.
I
Yeah.
wonder if that's more how it happens. Like my brother is by far the smartest person in my family. Older brother, he's the one that went the lawyer road.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what my dad does for a living.
Lawyer.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
and there was some nudging going on, and I don't think
Right.
I don't think that's just in our family. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Were you close? Are you close with your family? What's that
Yeah.
situation like?
Yeah, and my dad passed away, but my mom's still alive and kicking and amazing. But when I was growing up, my dad was an early Silicon Valley engineer but also extremely creative in many ways. So he listened to the blues, South Side of Chicago blues. He could play any music that he heard. He could paint. He could do all sorts of things, but his primary ability was in engineering. And I was always good at art growing up, and I really aped him. I was like, I want to be just like my dad because he's amazing. And I remember I was pushing myself at AP chemistry, AP biology. I took all these classes and I did well, and I was kind of trying to, go towards the science route. My parents sat me down, Noe Valley Pizza restaurant on a Friday night. Still remember it like it was yesterday, and they said, more or less, you're not very good at science. It's okay. You're trying really hard. We appreciate that. You're really good at art. Figure out how to be the best you can be at art. And if you're the best you can be, you're the best in the world, you will get paid. So figure out how to make money. If you are truly, truly great, you'll get paid. Yeah.
Two instant thoughts come up to my mind.
Yeah.
First of all, curiosity. Just how old were you?
Yeah. I think I was about, actually, no, I was about 13. 13.
And
No,
two,
no, no, the AP classes, it was probably, no, 16, probably 16, sorry. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I also want to know how, if they're like, we better take Xanthe to a public setting before we tell her this news that she's
Oh,
not great at science.
oh yeah, punish in public was a part of my childhood. Yeah.
That's funny. All right, but here you are. I mean, hey, I think you've done just fine for yourself. What a ride. Right now you're rocking it at Pinterest, and you can't help but look at your background and just go, way to go. I mean, Google before this, TBWA. I mean, when I think of agencies, they're on the podium of all-time greats. You've found a way to be elite, and it shows. Was there a moment along the path where you were like, I'm pretty good at this? Like, when did you know? Did you know right out of the gate, or
No. Not no. I wanted to be, my dad died when I was just finishing art center and getting my degree in advertising. And I almost didn't finish because I was so devastated that he died. But it lit a fire in me that I felt like life was short. I felt like I didn't have much time. So I felt like everything deserved the most effort. And so if I've had a great career, it's because I've tried harder. I've worked longer, I've given it my all, and it's happened really fast because I just refused to ever, like, phone it in. I've never phoned in a single thing ever. Like it's impossible for me. Like I just don't understand that. And, I don't have a healthy work-life balance maybe, but I love what I do so much. And I got good feedback, but I was always, even when I would do something, I was learning so much that I would go, oh my God, yeah, that sort of was well received, but geez, all the things I didn't know and I still have to learn. So I've never really felt like I made it, if that's
Yeah,
what you're talking
you've made it. Let
about.
me be the first to tell
Oh,
you
that's,
and own it. But I get it. I mean, to me, I also really appreciate your LinkedIn, the way you describe yourself. You lead with mom, which is cool.
yeah,
But I always feel like it's always in service of others. Like, and at least now, I mean, I think early in my career, and I came out of New York agencies, right? It was so competitive. You're just trying not to get fired. You hope
yeah,
that someone sees something in you.
right.
But to me, the equation was always love plus work ethic,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Plus unemotional observationalist
yeah,
equals
yeah,
equals we're onto something.
yes,
Like
yes.
our business is, I think what most people don't understand about story, it's like you have to sort of body jump and you're
Uh-huh.
unemotional. You have to be unemotional about
Yeah,
looking at really emotional topics.
yeah,
And is that going
yeah,
to land when that connects? So it's a
right,
what a
right.
weird job we do.
Right. Right. And also delivering that when you have those questions in a way that doesn't deflate somebody. I mean, I think that's like the art of leadership really is just being able to tell someone the worst news in the world and have them thank you for it. Like that's kind of the standard that I try to operate within. Um, and I love people. I get more and more joy out of seeing other people succeed. It really, I'm like not in it for me, if like I'm listed in something or I shouted out something, it's like, oh, that's cool. But actually, like, it's time to build other people's careers. Like, that's where I'm invested in. I want to figure out how to make knowledge transferable, and see them rise. Like, it's way more fulfilling to see people do things than like release an ad campaign. Like it's
Yeah.
like I do that all the time.
But that's kind of also how it's sort of a data point of how you know you're where you should be.
Yeah.
Like I think the minute it switches where it's not about you anymore,
Yes.
like
Yes.
my daughter yesterday, she's 8, and we were out kicking a soccer ball and watching a game, particular game, and she goes, "Daddy, you're famous." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like
Did
I'm
she
like,
Google you?
Tell me more, honey." God, she didn't Google me, but she's like, "You talk to thousands and millions of people from stages."
Uh,
Uh, and and and
yeah.
it was my mind where my mind went, and I think it's from this business. It's like, one, it's not about me. It's got
Yeah.
nothing to do with me. Two,
Yeah.
I'm now worried that she thinks that being famous is the goal. It
Right.
has nothing
Right.
to do with it.
No. No.
And three, it's like, honey, I still get scared every time I go on stage. It's more about what's being said. And I've said, this is what it reminded me of this. I'm not in the business of sharing knowledge. I'm in the business of transferring knowledge.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
very big difference.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
means I have to take a stage and say something a certain way where it
Yeah.
leaves and lands
Yeah.
and it actually sticks.
Yeah.
I will do that. I will take on my fear
Yeah.
and I will do that if it's going to help other people be better.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
How does that play in your world?
I mean, I feel like I have to do the same thing also, and that's kind of what I tell myself, some version of that too. I'm an introvert. Like I've spent a lot of time alone. Like if I'm not working, I'm definitely alone or with my boyfriend and my kids, obviously, but I need a lot of time reflecting, and so I have to push myself out there. I have to push myself to talk to 300 people or show up on a stage, and I kind of, go, okay, this is going to be better for everyone. And actually, I'm just sort of conveying information. It's not me up there. It's like I'm a conduit. But, you know, I think about leadership a lot. And I don't think I'm there yet in terms of developing leaders, because I think it's really hard as a creative to in your nature, you want to focus on the work, you think of ideas all the time, you can't stop that. And to be able to put one else in a position where you're truly growing them at every step and teaching them how to think, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. Like, and I think I'd like to continue to try that.
When you took this job, were you trying to design it where you knew you could stay creative? Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think my job at Google, well, first of all, I started out as the creative director for Nest, which was very creative. I was very in the work. It was a much smaller team. We were absorbed back into Google, and then all of a sudden I had all of hardware. So I went from a team of 40 to a team of about 100, relatively overnight. And then we also took a lot of work in-house. So I was doing a lot more. So it turned into a very operational stakeholder management type job by the end. It wasn't always that way, but when the Pinterest opportunity came around, the woman that I worked for reached out to me, the CMO, and I instantly liked her. In fact, I started working with her on the job description for this role long before I took it because I liked her so much. I wanted her to find a good person. And I was like, I
So
know
funny.
people, I'll try to find, and I was, making comments in a Google Doc of the job description. But I knew that Pinterest, I knew it was a smaller team. I knew it was also a category of one. So I wasn't going to be playing catch up with another huge competitor, which can be, if I've done that a couple times in my career where, I spent 4 years on Pepsi, which is always number two to Coke. I worked on the Google hardware suite, which is amazing, but it's also, we're playing catch up to another player. And with Pinterest, I knew that without that kind of extreme pressure, that there was going to be a chance for me to have fun again. And the minute I got in, I started writing ideas. I started, writing scripts again, coming up with stunts, coming up with all sorts of stuff. And I loved it. Like I wouldn't trade this job for the world because it's got the perfect balance, perfect size. It's like Goldilocks, perfect size team, great size company, great leadership. So I feel like I really lucked out with this one.
Well, is it luck really? I mean, is it really luck or is it sort of like, I mean, if you're doing the exercise right, I feel like you should be learning something about yourself every step of the way,
Yeah.
right? To
Well,
decide what's a yes and what's a no.
yeah. I think it's luck in the sense that I didn't, you never know when you join a company what it's really going to be like. You can be told something, you can have a feeling about something, but you don't really know. I also, from my peers, it just doesn't sound like a lot of people are happy at work right now, which goes back to kind of your kind of opening question about creativity. Like it's sort of, we're in this death match right now. And I feel like this company is built on creativity, right? So, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it will be creative in marketing. Like there's cases where that doesn't happen. So I think that I feel lucky in the sense, or grateful, I should say, that I'm in this kind of circumstance when I see so much that's the opposite happening all around. Creative teams are getting squeezed out for more business, more, brief making versus actual risk taking, comfort. People are getting less and less comfortable with risk, with courage, you know. So that's sad.
I mean, I also worry if I take a step back and do the same thing we talked about and I'm unemotional about who's
Yeah.
going to listen to this particular episode, right?
Yeah.
Probably creatives. It's probably
Right.
creatives, right?
Right.
This is outside I'm air quoting my normal listener that does feel like they're on their path. I think we have three different types of people that listen. You've got the
Yeah.
entrepreneur who
Right.
is constantly pushing. You've got the up and comer that they're very curious and they are proactive and they want to keep going. And then I think whoever the guest is, you're going to
Yeah.
get that sort of mindset. So
Hmm.
I always worry, again, I'm back to that first question. How can, like, how hard it is to convince people,
Hmm.
right? It's almost impossible to do. It's like, I need to give you just enough for you to convince yourself, and then maybe you'll
Yep.
take it from there. So how do you go about looking at a leadership team when it's like 80% on one side of the brain and one poor soul representing the feel side? Like,
Yeah.
how would you go about showing them or bringing them along that creative leadership is more than a creative department?
Hmm. It's a really great question. I feel like I should ask you that because you have more experience. I'll ask you. What do you think?
I mean, to me, it's nothing, again, I think it's nothing more than repeaters make believers. So
Mm,
my whole thought with courageous has always been I have to be consistent
yeah,
and I have to continue to put it out there. And over time, I don't know when my message is going to, you may get a newsletter from me. I have a weekly dose of courage that goes out every
yeah,
Thursday, but you may have time to read it. You may not. There may have been something that happened at work and finally you need it.
yeah,
And then suddenly it matters. So my sense is I don't know when it's going to hit, but if I'm consistent,
yeah,
eventually I'm going to find my tribe. And in great marketing, it's don't try to be all things to all people.
yeah,
Find your 5, 10% and hope for the best. I think that's one way.
yeah.
The second way, I'm wondering your take on this. I've always told my teams, stop focusing. So this is me. This is stop
Yeah.
focusing on the CEO and the CMO. Start working on the next group. It's the
Uh-huh.
person that's the last person in the room who is
Mhm,
invited into the room should get
mhm,
most of your attention. Because if you
mhm,
can nurture that relationship,
mhm.
eventually that's the person that's going to be in charge.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah,
think like there's still hope there. The belief system isn't fully
yeah,
set.
yeah.
Those are my two.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I mean, it reminds me of this quote that I love that it was actually Mary Kay who said it. And I don't remember the exact wording, but it was essentially that pretend everyone has a sign around their neck that says make me feel important and you'll win in business and you'll win in life. And I love that. I've always kind of operated that way. And then I saw it written. I was like, yes, that's it. And what you're talking about is nurturing a relationship with the person who's been outranked and or maybe even cast aside, and I think that's super important to also not look at everything so in such a hierarchical way. I think agencies a lot of time make mistakes because they think they can sort of jump levels when they're talking to brands, like, well, we don't like this, we're going to go above that person. It's like, well, we actually all talk to each other, we're actually all like one team, so you think you're jumping ranks and we're like sitting at the same table together. So that's also interesting. So you nurturing that relationship or operating that way, or actually nurturing the whole team. So
You did say something earlier that makes me nervous as the courage guy, right? Like you're like we're choosing more comfort, we're taking less risk, that means there's less courage. Am I going to be out of a job?
no, no, because we need you to remind people how important this is. That's so, I mean, like a lot of times, at work, if I just wrote a newsletter this morning. It's like, give me a soapbox and I'll talk about this stuff. I'll talk about the things that actually matter to the human beings in marketing, in advertising. They want to feel something. At the end of the day, they want to be attached to a piece of work that made somebody cry or made somebody laugh. That's it. It's that simple.
I did exactly one week. This is my claim to fame. One
Yeah.
week of executive education at Harvard.
Yeah.
Yes, I bought the t-shirt. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
But I remember one of the case studies was for American Express, and it was a CFO, and no, it was a CMO, and she says, I never go see the CEO without being in lockstep with the CFO, and we'll go in together because the
Yeah.
CEO doesn't have time,
Yeah.
is just looking for the cracks. They're just looking like,
Right.
are you two really
Right.
aligned or
Right.
not? So here's an
Right.
example of the money people, and for
Yeah.
lack of a better term, the meaningful people, the memory and the money. Did you
Yeah.
make a memory?
Yeah.
And do you have that person at Pinterest? Like, do you have that person on that side of the brain that you're like, are we holding hands when we go into this meeting? Are we ready? Let's
Yeah.
go.
I mean, I would actually say Andrea's leadership team, my main partners are a woman named Lisa Sullivan Cross who runs growth marketing. She's all about the performance, the increasing MAU, all of that. That's a huge portion of how we invest. And then there's Stacy Malone, who runs all the advertiser B2B marketing. She and I are in lockstep. And then there's Sarah Pollock, who runs consumer marketing. So we really triangulate or pair up as needed. And I'm kind of in the center of stuff because of how my team is sort of central. But I feel like a tremendous partnership with those two, that we are in full agreement. We've worked out all the kinks, all the questions. And so we're really going to Andrea, our collective boss, with going, this is what we believe in. And she may poke holes in it. She challenges us, but we have done research. We've looked at things from every which way, and having that partnership is really critical to being able to do, I think, great work. And also, I've built on it over the year. At first it was kind of wild ideas that everyone was like, "Ooh, we sure we're going to do that?" Yeah, we're going to do that. And then we're going to do 5 more like that, but they're all different. But everyone started to see, oh, my friends are blowing me up on LinkedIn, or wow, the industry is really noticing us. And they start to feel really good about it. And so that, snowballs, and you start to do more and more, because you've built the trust. You've said, we've delivered on the brief and then some. Yeah.
I just realized how rude I am. I am so rude. Happy anniversary.
Oh, thanks. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've been there a little over a year. I mean, Andrea's a dream to work for. I call her the last bastion of psychological safety. So,
Oh, that's awesome. I like that. Well, that's a big part of this, right? It's like, that's the irony. It's like you do need safety to do risky work. Like you need,
yes.
like that is a skill for sure. So as you think about the year, you guys are learning to work together,
Yeah.
right? You're writing rules as you go along, I'm sure. Or is it like, did you guys create your own commandments out of the gate and like, let's try to apply by these principles? Or was it just like, here's a project. Okay, what did we learn from that
No.
new rule?
No, I'm not a good commandments type person. I'm not. I have to do it and then later figure out what the math was that worked. I have to do it instinctively, and what is the best solution for the brief? What is the most unique way to accomplish this business goal that will excite everybody, that will be a project everyone wants to work on, and that makes me smile. Like, and then we go back and go, oh, actually, we've been saying a lot, like, what are we going to unboring next? Because we did this project called Unboring My Boardroom. And so that became like, oh, that's an interesting math. Like, we're B2B, we do a lot of B2B. How do you do it in an unboring way? And so that's been kind of a guiding light for us.
So I'm just thinking through our process, and one of the things we talk about is it's called villain verification,
Yeah.
right? So in order to clarify your purpose, you need to verify your villain.
Yeah.
And we're one of the things we're working through are all the different archetypes of villains. So this is a
Yeah.
sneak peek behind our word, but boring,
Yeah.
taking down boring is clearly
Yes.
right,
Yes.
and making it as
Yeah.
easy as possible for people. Boring is the villain, and I don't think anybody
Yeah.
ever wants to
Yeah.
feel that they're boring. I do think bored gets a bad rap. I think I think boring, you're on.
Yeah, I agree.
I think bored,
Yeah.
like I worry about my kids,
Bored.
like actually go be bored, because in that
No.
boredom usually good stuff
Oh,
comes out of it.
I know. I know. And the minute you take the devices away from kids, they start doing other things. First they bitch and moan, and then they start drawing and painting, going to something outside, and they're all over the place. And it's like, this is what they should be doing, because their brain is so limitless. I mean, and I think we give them too much to consume, not enough to create.
In the spirit of that, we just ran into a TED talk on it was the marshmallow test. Have you seen this?
No.
So this guy's doing these TED talks. Did a study of a TED talk. They would do workshops and they would give you pasta, clearly
Uh-huh.
not made, pasta
Yeah.
sticks,
Yeah.
marshmallow, and it's called the marshmallow test. How tall can you build
Uh,
this pasta making thing? But at the very top has
yeah.
to be the marshmallow. And so he's gone around
Yeah.
with teams working on this thing,
Uh-huh.
and so he shares the data in the TED talk, and he's like,
Yeah.
by far the worst group were those who just graduated with an MBA. This was the worst group
Really
because they have
interesting.
an idea of like what there's only one way to do something. So
Wow.
let's start with the plan, and they're not
Wow.
getting into it.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
number the number one
Yeah.
kindergartners,
Oh, I bet. I bet. I'm not
because
surprised, actually.
they
With
just
the MBA
jump in,
thing. Yeah, that's really
and then
interesting. Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
the irony was CEOs were below kindergartners, but
Oh, yeah.
CEOs got better when you added the executive assistants to their team.
Oh, wow. I love
So
that.
cool. I'll
I
send you
love
the
that.
link.
I
I'll send
love
you the
that.
link.
Yeah, that's
All
awesome.
right.
Oh my gosh, that's
So
great.
we're kind of back to we started, we're all creative until someone
Yeah,
tells us
yeah,
we're not, and
yeah,
then we start to
yeah,
believe it. And
yeah,
how did this even happen?
yeah. But I also love that because I did run into this quite a bit before I got to Pinterest, which was too many smart people. It's just a way of thinking that's very systematized and it's bulletproof. I mean, it is like on paper, it looks great, it sounds great, everything is like you can't argue with that. And then it somehow the magic's not there. Like, and I can't explain it. It's just a hypothesis that sometimes you just need to feel your way through something and not have the plan, minted before you get going. And I've found that freedom at Pinterest in a way that's been so much more creative. Like versus, nuancing every word on a slide and everything does this mean exactly? It's like, just let us make something. How about that? How about you tell me that I need to do this and I'll go make something. But don't tell me a lot more than we need to accomplish this goal. Like,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. And I'm thinking there's a couple clients like they don't have a smartest person in the room problem. Like everyone's smart.
yeah,
That,
right.
but it's like the emotional, the
Yeah,
feels, and
yeah,
like what happened. Like go back to the version of you before. Like I think when we used to drive into work, remember those good old days where you had
yeah,
a commute, and
yeah,
there was somewhere along the way of the commute that you would cross an imaginary line,
yeah,
and the thing that made you laugh that you binge watched all weekend went away, and the
right,
robotic person shows up at work, and you're like,
right,
no,
right.
get rid of
Yes,
that person. Go
yes,
back to the
yes,
binge watching person.
yes,
What
yes.
worked on you? To be
Right,
more of that.
right. What worked on you? Exactly.
Maybe
Exactly.
that's a good whatworkedonyou.com. I'm going to see if anyone owns that URL. Right.
I love it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, how do you go about, I mean, I imagine it in again, this is not to vilify Google, but when I think
Yeah.
of Google, oh my gosh, like I'm not worried about smart. I'm worried about, hey, the emotion, the feels, right? Like I think the
Yeah.
other thing we have to be careful of a little bit, and if I'm really, really vulnerable and honest, I think another reason I have confidence for what I do is because I'm more like the 335 million people that didn't go to an Ivy League school in America. Like I'm just a translator to like, hey, are you going to actually be able to land?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's not
Right.
the elite. And so, but when I think of Google, I just think of absurdly smart.
Yeah.
What about the
But
emotional intelligence?
well, exactly. There and I think, listen, with these sort of top of the heap, often they have high IQ and high EQ. They're the most charming people. They're incredibly smart. I mean, it's sort of like, oh my God, and they're athletic and they, run marathons and done all this stuff. It's like, holy shit. But then what I think is missing a little bit is just how but that's not the consumer. It's not the consumer at all. Like, I have this slide that I go and talk to schools, and it's like, super brains run tech companies, super brains pick out advertising, and real people buy products. Like, it's just like we have to do better at starting with the consumer, not starting with what we think sounds good in a meeting. Just like, will this connect? What are they really looking for from us? What problem can we uniquely solve that they've said it. It's all there. If you watch people in a store, if you're doing CPG, if you watch them pick out packages, if you're online, you're looking at Reddit and thinking about a car brand, like they've talked to you, and what nuggets can you pick up and reflect back? And that's not going in a room with another, the NASA level super brains and writing the perfect, strategy. Like it's too removed from people. It's way
Yeah.
too,
Well, again, it's almost we're back to the courageous or the
yeah,
creative leadership
yeah,
conversation. Like
yeah.
these, it's like we almost need a marketing campaign to the super brains. There's a marketing campaign to the super brains on how to
Hmm.
connect
Right,
to real people,
right.
right? On all
Yeah,
facets.
yeah,
What's your advice?
yeah.
And And if maybe the other question for someone
Yeah.
listening that knows that they're trying to, they know they're at a place that they're unhappy. Like you said it at the beginning, there's a lot of unhappy people right now at work. Like, what is the one question you would
Yeah.
you would give them to ask, even where they work or where they're going to go next, to make sure
Yeah.
they can put themselves in a position to do what they do best?
One question that they would ask of a future company.
Yeah,
You're That's a really great, I guess it's, to me, it's a lot of maybe just word on the street. Because if you ask the question, no one's going to give you the true answer. So it's just, I do a lot of like background research on companies and what people really say in terms of the super brains and their marketing strategy. It's show your sister, show your son, show, your construction worker, show your neighbor. I think if you start to do that, real quickly it breaks down and they go, "What? That's not why I buy that thing. I don't, I'm looking for this." And you have to focus there. Like, I think it's easy if in the hierarchical corporate culture to listen to this person who outranks you and says this is the vision for this product line, when there may be a fallacy there. That person may be so far in the MIT ivory tower bubble that they don't, they're not the guy with 40 extra bucks to buy, this product. So it's just, I think we're so disconnected, and it's especially apparent in tech. I think Pinterest closes that gap because there's so much emphasis on the consumer, the research we do, the actual stories of how people use our platform. That's so big for this company. And then it's raw, it's right there. It's for you to take.
it's almost easier because you really are on the front lines with the boards, right? I mean, you're
Yes.
seeing it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And it's not
Yeah.
like the Kevin Bacon, you're 7 games away, the ivory tower
Right.
version all the
Right.
way down.
Right. Yeah.
But it does bring up like a really good idea. Like, I wonder, for being a creative person, here's another fallacy that creatives don't like process. Like, what are you talking? Like, creatives, I love process. I
Yeah.
like, I truly like, I
Me too.
process is messy, but
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I wonder if people, if companies, all right, if you're trying to figure out a way to get this through,
Mhm.
maybe there's a quarterly meeting you put on your calendar that's consumer day. It's just like
Mhm.
it's about all about them day, and it's
Yeah.
on the calendar, and it's like a
Yeah.
2 hour
Yeah.
presentation. And because
Yeah.
I think we
Yeah.
mean well, and then life happens, and like you're just into the weed,
Yeah.
you're off,
But
and
it
it's like,
we do that. We invited, 7 pinners on stage at a senior leadership conference, and we heard them say uncomfortable things, that gave us kind of pause or said, "Okay, we got to relook at that." You ask real people, you bring them into your company. There's nothing better than that. Like, nothing better. Like, you get so much. I used to, sneak into focus groups when I was at Chiat Day. It was like the strategy people were doing, and I'd be like, "Can I please come in and like look behind the glass?" And I'd write a bunch of ideas because I'd hear people talking about Stacy's chips. It was like I couldn't figure out the brief. So I went in the research group and heard him talk about the actual product. And then I was like, oh, there's the campaign, you know.
so there's a famous proverb that fear and courage are kin. You can't get to the courageous choice without
Hmm. Yeah.
putting it through the fear first. And
Yeah.
I think that for a lot of people, there is a lot of corporate fear.
Right.
We
Yeah.
talk about there's vertical fears that could take the whole industry down. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's cool that you're in the seat where you're now the number one, right? So you're the
Yeah.
rabbit,
Well,
right? Well, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
There's perception fears, which is marketing. Like, we
Right.
think we're this, but everybody thinks we're that. And then there's personal fears. So
Yeah.
when you think about this current
Yeah.
job, is
Yeah.
there like, is there a big fear
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you're dealing with that you have to get through?
My fear is that we'll be forgettable, that we won't be talked about, we won't be relevant. And I believe in the product. So that is the fear that drives everything. Is like, we cannot be missed. I fully believe that this product should be everywhere. I think it's incredibly useful. I think it's inspiring. It builds confidence. It does all of those things. And my goal, it's like what I wake up thinking, is this good enough that people will actually care? Is this noticeable? Is this funny? Is this interesting? Like, is this going to move the needle at all? That's the fear. It's not the fear of what the CEO thinks. He's a wonderful guy, actually. And the CMO, it's just more, I look outside of that and go, that is our fear. Like that's what drives everything. So I think that I love the fear courage dichotomy. That's a great way to look at it.
And I love your answer, because what you're telling me is that, and not that you would ever put yourself in a position where you wouldn't work in like when the product is good, like when the product is solid, it makes our job so much easier, right?
Yes.
So what I'm hearing is like, this is a great product, and more people, like, why aren't they using this the way it should be? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's, in a, a kind of this toxic internet culture, it's an island of ideas. I mean, Pinterest, other social media is people connecting with other people. Pinterest is people connecting to ideas. As a creative person, sign me up. I don't care about who made the idea and their personality. I just want to know about the idea. It's how we look at creative work. It doesn't matter who thought of it in the creative team. It's the power of the idea, and that has to trump everything else. So that is the message I want to get out there. And so it's really fun to work towards that.
Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show. I do have one more question for you, but this is just in case I forget, because this is such a fast hour and simpatico. I really appreciate the way you think. So let's say we're now, we come back together and I'm like, happy 2-year anniversary. You made it to year 2, right? What's changed at Pinterest, or what is the consumer thinking differently about you that you can share?
I think the consumer is able to be even more creative on the platform, able to play with the actual content and make things. I think it's less just saving and organizing and more, collages and putting their vision together on the platform. I think that would be great. Also, being delighted. There's a lot of people who don't know about inclusive search features, like being able to see different body shapes in the feed that we've been working tirelessly for, skin tones, like picking out makeup with your skin tone, hair, nails, all these things that mean a great deal to people who have not felt represented. I think we still haven't totally told the world about that. So I'd like to get there.
I'll see you in a year. Sound good?
Yeah. Ryan, thank you so much. This is so fun. Fun to talk to you. I love your ideas.
Oh, again, I'll say it right back to you. It's been a pleasure getting to double my amount of time with you now, almost triple. and I know we'll keep in touch now, but thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Courageous Podcast. If you enjoy the show, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts so more people can find us. See you again next week.